So I'm pricing up a deck right now, 12 meters by 12, which is 144 square meters of composite because I have expensive taste in imaginary gardens, balustrade down one side, and 10 little lights in the boards. And the price just sits there recalculating while I change my mind. 33 grand. Fine. If I want that in writing, I'll leave my name and email. And done. The company rings me back already knowing exactly what I asked for. That whole thing took me about 90 seconds on a decking firm's website, and until 3 weeks ago, the same quote was a site visit and a promise to call back. The firm belongs to a client of mine, and I want to rebuild this from an empty project because the interesting part is where the numbers come from.
Quick word about Marcus first. 2-man decking outfit, proper work, the kind of finished job photos that sell themselves. And he was losing jobs purely on speed, because someone fills in his contact form, he drives out with a tape measure, and by the time his number lands, the customer has already spent the money with whoever answered first. He asked me for a calculator on the site. Back in my agency days, that request was a 6-week build and a handover meeting about a spreadsheet, and I have been in that meeting and I'd rather not go back. This took an afternoon. Here it is from the empty project. The prompt's nothing clever. An instant price calculator for a decking company. Customers pick their size and options and watch the price move, then leave their details for the written quote. Normally Chow sits you down first and suggests features like a consultant would. I've shown you that before, so this time I'm flipping it to instant and going straight in. And it's already most of a product. Sliders and a live price with the breakdown under it, and a little form for your details at the end. It's also decided the company is called Timberline Decking, which it is not, but we'll get to that. The prices are made up too. It's guessing at what decking costs, and guessing is exactly what we're about to stamp out. The pricing logic is the one bit I refuse to wing, because an ugly calculator costs you nothing, but a wrong one costs Marcus real money. Somebody screenshots a low number and holds him to it in the driveway. So for this prompt, I'm doing 2 things differently. The effort goes up to thorough. That's this little control, it cycles from quick to maximum, and thorough means it thinks harder and takes longer, which is exactly the trade you want on money logic. And plan mode goes on, which means it has to tell me what it intends to build before it touches anything. And I'm not typing his prices in from memory. This spreadsheet is Marcus's actual rate card, which he formatted himself, bless him. I attach it and tell it, these are the real rates, charge the extras the way he charges them, and put the VAT where people can see it.
And it doesn't run off and code, it comes back with questions. The questions a decent contractor would ask actually. The rate for each board, how every extra is charged, whether that's per light or per step, whether there's a minimum job. And I answer straight off the rate card. Question 5 is the one that pays for the whole feature. It asks if labour is separate or built into the meter rate, because the plan it was drafting had a 35% labour line sitting on top of everything, and Marcus's rates are supply and fit. Labour's already in there. If that had slipped through, every quote on this site would have come out a third too high, and nobody rings you back about a third too high deck.
Then the plan arrives, written out in English before any code gets touched, and it's a decent read. The exact rates pulled in, the labour line marked for removal. It's thrown out 2 add-ons Marcus doesn't even sell because they weren't on the card. And there's a note asking whether the £900 minimum sits before or after VAT. That's the kind of thing that ends up in small claims court when nobody asks it. Approved, off it goes.
It'll take longer than the earlier prompts because I asked it to think, and on this one I want it to. While we wait, years ago a mate of mine at another agency shipped a quote page that said from £400, when the spreadsheet behind it meant 4,000. A zero is a very small thing until it's public. He ate the difference on 2 jobs before anyone noticed. So no, I don't wing pricing anymore. And look at the numbers now. 95, 140, 185. Marcus's rates to the pound. The lights ask how many lights. There's a proper subtotal, the VAT sits on its own line. That's a calculator you can let strangers use.
It prices like Marcus now, but it still says Timberline at the top, and the fix has been sitting in my inbox since Tuesday. He sent me his logo and a folder of finished decks. Tradesmen's job photos are the best marketing photos on earth, because they're real and they look it. Every project here has a file repository, so I'm dropping the whole folder in, and files that live here can be served straight to visitors. They're part of the product now, same as the code. One honest wrinkle: the chat can't go rummaging through the repository by itself. Each file has a share with agent button, so the photos go across that way, and the logo I just dropped straight onto the prompt. So, his name on it, logo in the header, and give me a gallery under the calculator from those photos. Yeah, see now it's his site, Finch decking at the top, his own decks underneath the calculator. Same maths as 5 minutes ago, but suddenly you trust it with your garden.
Right. Couple of small things and I'll point at them rather than describe them. I click the price and whatever I say next is about that price and nothing else. It's the entire reason anyone's on this page, so it gets to be enormous. And this button gets Marcus's green because it's the one thing here you actually want pressed. Pointing at things is still the feature I use most, by the way. Some habits form fast. Let's be a customer about it then. This is the live site in a fresh tab, no login, I'm just a bloke with a garden. 60 square meters, the middle board, and yes to the lights, obviously. There's my price, moving as I change my mind, with the breakdown sitting under it so it doesn't feel like a number pulled out of the air. VAT on its own line, which tradesmen will tell you is where quotes go to die. I'll have it in writing. Name, email, and off it goes. Quote on its way to Tom. Now flip to Marcus's side, that's a lead, with the whole configuration attached. He rings Tom back, knowing it's 60 meters of hardwood with lighting before he's even said hello, which is a very different phone call from, "So, tell me about your garden."
That's the build. If you quote for a living, decks, lofts, bathrooms, whatever your version is, the thing a calculator actually buys you is speed. You become the first real number a customer sees, and the first real number wins more often than it should. Bring your own rate card, coffee stains and all, type what you charge and see what comes back. Links below, go build something.